Imagine this. A former US president steps back into the global spotlight, promising he can do what no one else has managed, bring peace to Ukraine. Bold claim, right? But is Donald Trump's approach really a gamble that risks giving Vladimir Putin the upper hand? The world has been watching closely. Every statement, every pause, every deal-making hint from Trump carries weight. Meanwhile, Putin sits in Moscow, playing his cards with the confidence of someone who believes time is on his side. Before we dive deep, let me ask you, do you think Trump can actually pull off a peace deal, or is he overestimating his leverage? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this debate is heating up. This isn't just about Ukraine. It's about the balance of power in the 21st century. It's about how leaders like Trump and Putin shape the rules of the game that every nation must play. In this video, we'll break down Trump's Ukraine gamble into 5 chapters. His promises, Putin's strategy, Europe's reaction, the global stakes, and finally, the big question, who really stands to win?
Trump has always branded himself as the ultimate deal-maker. From real estate to politics, he frames negotiations as battles of willpower. But in the Ukraine conflict, the stakes are higher than any casino table or New York tower. On the campaign trail, he claimed he could end the war in just 24 hours. Sounds impressive, but how? He's been vague on the details, leaving supporters hopeful and critics skeptical. To his base in the US, Trump projects strength. He paints himself as the only leader tough enough to sit across the table from Putin and force a compromise. But is that toughness real leverage or just branding? Here's the thing. Foreign policy isn't like negotiating property deals. It's messy, unpredictable, and full of actors who don't play by the same rules. Putin, for example, thrives in ambiguity. Audience question. Do you think Trump's bold promises are genius negotiation tactics or empty rhetoric designed for headlines? Critics argue that Trump risks undermining Ukraine's sovereignty if he pressures Kyiv to accept concessions. To them, peace at any price isn't peace, it's surrender. Meanwhile, his supporters counter that endless war drains U.S. resources and that Trump's peace-first approach could save lives and dollars. That clash of visions between idealism and pragmatism defines Trump's gamble. If he pushes too hard for a quick deal, he risks alienating allies. If he drags his feet, he loses credibility. And all the while, Putin watches, waiting for Trump's next move. Which raises the bigger question. Is Trump playing a bold game of chess, or is Putin quietly winning by simply waiting him out? Vladimir Putin has built his career on patience. Unlike Western leaders tied to election cycles, Putin sees time differently. For him, years of stalemate aren't a problem. They're an advantage. Sanctions, international isolation, battlefield losses, none of it has broken his grip. If anything, they've reinforced his narrative at home. Russia against the world. So when Trump signals frustration and even pauses his peace push, Putin smiles. He knows every delay works in his favor. What makes Putin dangerous is his ability to mix weakness with strength. He can look isolated internationally while projecting dominance domestically. That contradiction confuses his opponents. Question for you. Do you think Putin is more dangerous because he's underestimated or because he's overestimated? In Putin's mind, Ukraine is not just about territory. It's about legacy, identity, and proving Russia cannot be sidelined by the West. This is why concessions that seem small to outsiders are non-negotiable for Kyiv. Handing over territory or neutrality could lock Ukraine into a weakened position for generations. And here's where Trump's gamble collides with Putin's long game. Trump wants fast results. Putin wants slow, grinding outcomes.
One seeks headlines, the other builds history. The irony? Both men thrive on predictability, yet in this conflict, unpredictability favors Putin more. Because when the US and Europe hesitate, Putin only needs to keep going. Across the Atlantic, Europe is watching nervously. For them, Ukraine's survival isn't a distant issue. It's their security guarantee. European leaders know that if Putin succeeds in Ukraine, the credibility of NATO itself could be shattered. And if NATO cracks, what comes next? Trump's pause on diplomacy frustrates European allies. They worry his unpredictability could weaken the united front that has kept Russia contained. At the same time, Europe faces its own challenges: energy costs, political divisions, and the rise of populist voices skeptical of supporting Ukraine indefinitely. Audience check-in. If you were a European leader, would you trust Trump's leadership on this issue, or look for backup plans? The reality is, Europe cannot afford to sit back. They've already increased military spending, accelerated defense cooperation, and looked for ways to reduce dependency on American leadership. This shift signals something bigger, a potential global power realignment. If America steps back under Trump, Europe may be forced to step forward. And that's exactly what Putin hopes for: divisions within the Western alliance. To be clear, Trump isn't against Europe, but his America First lens sometimes clashes with Europe's collective mindset. The result is tension, mistrust, and uncertainty. Perfect conditions for Moscow. So here we are. Trump makes bold promises, but hesitates on follow-through. Putin waits, plays the long game, and thrives in delay. Europe struggles to hold the middle ground. The big question? In this triangle of power, who actually comes out ahead? If Trump succeeds in brokering peace, he'll claim historic credit. But if that peace favors Putin, history may judge it as a dangerous concession. If Putin survives long enough to see the West divided, he doesn't need total victory in Ukraine. Survival itself becomes his win. And if Europe finally unites and asserts itself, it could reshape the Western alliance for decades to come. Let's not forget Ukraine itself. Too often, it becomes the backdrop to great power politics. Yet its people, soldiers, and leaders carry the true cost of this gamble. Any deal that doesn't protect their sovereignty risks repeating the mistakes of history. Audience thought: do you think peace without justice is possible, or even desirable? As Americans and Europeans debate, one thing is certain: Putin isn't leaving the stage quietly. Trump, on the other hand, thrives on spectacle. His gamble isn't just about Ukraine, it's about reshaping his legacy as a global leader. Which makes this more than just geopolitics. It's also about personal rivalries, ego, and the narratives leaders build about themselves. History reminds us that gambles can pay off, or they can backfire spectacularly. Right now, the outcome is still unwritten. Trump's Ukraine gamble may yet force a breakthrough, or it may hand Putin the quiet victory he's been waiting for. Either way, the stakes are enormous. The world order, NATO's future, and Ukraine's survival all hang in the balance. So I'll leave you with this: Trump's Ukraine gamble. Is it a bold path to peace, or the biggest gift Putin could ever hope for?